All right, welcome to the Geek Branch podcast. I'm your host Tim, and unfortunately, Matt and Devontae are still out, but we have our co-host Dane and our continued special guest. He's just like might as well be a co-host, Cussler.
Hey, if you ever just want me here, let me know.
Yep, and he'll probably be back next week. He's one of our regulars. He's the steward of Big Bang Theory for us. If you don't know who that is, that's the comic book owner, shop owner. But we're going to talk about the cinematic movie universe topics. Our first topic is the Harley Quinn animated series, the series premiere. We're going to go over that. Then we'll go over Disney reportedly developing a new Tron reboot. Is it going to be for theater or is it going to be for Disney Plus? We don't know. Also, we are going to discuss some casting news for the Black Adam movie. We recently talked about how Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson said that JSA is going to be in his movie. Well, since then, we've been hearing some stuff leak out about who's going to be in the movie. And one thing is they're looking at a Alan Scott Green Lantern. So they're looking at Chris Hemsworth being the person to take the role. And then they are looking at Hawkman. Rami Malek, who's he's done a lot of other things, but he's most known for Bohemian Rhapsody and Mr. Robot. But we're going to start off with Harley Quinn. So me and Dane had already earlier this week already watched it.
Right on premiere.
Yeah, right on premiere day. But we went ahead and rewatched it with Cussler, so we would all be able to discuss our opinions. We're not as hyped as a lot of other people are. I myself just view it as an adult animated comedy series that has DC characters in it. And they just use it as a way to market the movie, in my opinion, because most of the depictions of the characters aren't accurate to how their characters usually are. I also view it as kind of like how Cartoon Network makes their Teen Titans Go when they used to do the 10-15 minute episodes. It kind of feels like that, a forgettable comedy series to me. That's just me. Some people view it. A lot of people have been reviewing it positively, saying it's breath of fresh air, but I think that's because of its political agenda behind it. And critics usually go for the left leaning politics when it comes to shows. So anytime it encourages that, they eat it up. So
whatever gets them the support.
Yep.
They always go for that audience that doesn't actually care, when the actual audience should, of course, be comic book fans or nevertheless DC fans. It drives me up a wall. So I have a very negative opinion of it, though obviously I tend to have a negative opinion about everything. But in this case, I really do.
You know, like the guy that commented this past week that said, "Man, that guy's obnoxious."
Is what it is. You can judge me as you wish. It's okay. We're all people. But I'll tell you right now that show is not okay. That show is not okay at all, man. Oh,
it's only one episode. You still have to watch 2 more.
I was gonna say 3-episode rule. You gotta at least do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a man of my word. I'll be here for the other 2. The thing about it is that I'm already just off of it. I don't think there's anything that show could do that could bring me back, because we've been in the emancipation of Harley Quinn for about 6 or 7 years now at this point.
Since New 52.
Yeah,
right?
Since New 52 era.
Right.
Yeah. So it's been longer probably than 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time, maybe a decade of just the emancipation.
I would say.
Yeah. The emancipation of Harley Quinn. And, there was a time for this. There was actually a time where this would have been something that would have stuck. And it was way back in the original Batman the Animated Series. Right? So imagine that, like in Batman Beyond, where we had the continuation with Terry McGinnis, and like that world had rolled forward.
Yeah.
Right? Therein lies an opportunity right around the death of the Joker for this to have occurred. Right? That's where I feel like this should be slotted. This entire universe that is the emancipation of Harley Quinn, that's where that belonged. It doesn't work now, because to me, when you're dealing with characters, one of the most important things is that there is a standard mythos that has to be common amongst all people that are working on the character, unless you're specifically doing something really out there like an Elseworld story. And that common mythos isn't decided by a group of writers, it's decided by the audience, it's decided by the fans. We are the ones that decide what Batman is, what Harley Quinn is, what the Joker is. Because if you show us something that does not meet that common mythos that the fandom has kind of created, then the unfortunate reality is that we can't recognize that character as being true to that character. We think that this is just a really strange interpretation of it. And that is the entirety of this show.
I don't necessarily think it's a strange interpretation. I do think it I definitely think it should have come out back when, this was relevant and New 52 was new. I don't think it's irrelevant, or I don't think it's relevant for when it is now. My biggest issue is just that it's very obvious in what it's trying to do, and it's throwing it in our face.
All right. So, I mean, let's go over the episode and then maybe we'll step back into talking about it in the grander context of things.
Yeah.
So if you were reading New 52 Harley Quinn, or if you've been around for like the last decade where people have been talking about it, the premise is always the same. It's that Joker is an abusive significant other,
boyfriend, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
and Harley is codependent and trapped in a very negative relationship or cycle, and that she's going to, of course, come to realize this after some amount of extreme circumstances and move on with her life to her own freedom and
and have her own group of misfits.
Yeah.
right, and do her own thing, become independent. So in this case, what happens is that they have this really elaborate plan to rob a boat. And it's staged between the two of them.
And it's supposed to be kind of like him letting her have some independence to do her own thing.
Right.
And he was just there for support.
Right. And
supposed to.
And they've agreed on it. He's even like hidden away so that no one gets distracted by the fact that Joker is actually a part of the plan, because maybe he pulled the spotlight from her. And it seems like something that, these two people could reasonably work out between the two of them. Instead, though, while he's hiding out inside some other dude's skin, which is what he's doing. He gets this really...
It's very Joker. He would do something like that.
Right. But he gets this really bright idea that he's like, oh, wow, this is a really amazing joke, and I cannot pass up the opportunity to just interrupt. So he interrupts her like by ripping off the skin mask of the guy that he's wearing and freaking everyone out.
And then using it like a puppet.
Yeah, because I could not puppet the face.
Yeah.
Pretty gross, but yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's the show has a lot of gratuitous violence.
Yes, gore and viscera abounds, which is one of the two things I like about it, but that's just me. I'm a gore guy. But regardless, so already the plan's going sideways. It's completely off the curb. And then he, of course, continues on because Harley apparently agreed to be the muscle in the situation. So she has the hammer and the mallet, and she's planning on bullying and intimidating.
She normally is the muscle, though, for him. And
he's a competent fighter in and of himself.
Yeah, but he normally lets his... minions do the dirty work.
Right. I mean, he rarely does tangle with Batman, and when he does, it's always very short. So yeah that's true. But apparently in this plan, though, they just outright agreed she is the muscle. She gets to come around with the mallet and intimidate all these people. Well, he completely throws that out of the water. He kills everybody on the boat.
He uses like a toxic
an acid bomb.
Yeah.
Then he has the Joker face flamethrower because it reminds you of the Joker copter or the Joker car or the Joker Batmobile. Just whenever he has to put his face on things, it's back in the old days. But so he's completely trashed the entire plan, and because he's trashed the entire plan, Batman arrives because that's just the way things go. And his bright idea is that he's just going to send Harley Quinn out there as a distraction and escape by himself, which he does in the Joker sub. This is very Adam West, by the way. Yeah, because everyone has
the submarine.
Yeah, the Joker sub. I mean, the only thing that stops it from being like true blue Joker sub is that it also doesn't have a giant Joker face on it, but most of the things do.
Yes,
that's classic Adam.
Well, his outfit reminds me of like a Adam West type Joker.
Yeah. So, and of course we have Alan Tudyk as the voice actor for him.
Alan Tudyk, who's known for his role in, of course, the beloved series Firefly, and then he also has done a whole bunch more than that. He was in one of the recent Star Wars movies. He was in Star Wars Rogue One. He He's been in multiple different TV shows.
He was Mr. Nobody in Doom
I was
Patrol.
about to say he's been Mr. Nobody in Doom Patrol, so he's been double dipping in the DC universe. So he is a very well-known voice actor. Oh, he also did the voice of what's the name of the parrot from Aladdin?
Iago.
Iago. He did the voice for Iago in the live action one that just came out.
Didn't know that actually.
Yep. Instead of the original voice actor, because that guy's no one wants to touch him anymore.
It's a little bit off, but regardless though. So yes, so that's all great, good and fun. Harley gets sent to Arkham, and obviously Joker promises as he's leaving via submarine that she won't even spend a single day at Arkham, and then immediately breaks that promise because he's gonna like, you have to spend at least one day. I have plans.
Yeah, they're more important than breaking you out.
And then 6 months later,
which is not Joker.
Not at all, right? First off, Joker's not a liar. For all intents and purposes, he's just not a character that decides to lie about things. If he is going to lie, it's in pursuit of some greater plan, a misdirection.
Right.
But generally speaking, if the Joker tells you something, like I have a room full of babies with bombs strapped to them upstairs, there's probably actually
he has no reason to lie.
Right.
He's the Joker. He's very blunt.
Right.
She knows how he is.
And he's not actually all that manipulative as a character.
She chooses to be manipulated. He lets her know how she is from the start.
Yeah, well, with this iteration of it,
it's
right?
different. Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying in typical iterations of the Joker.
Well, you wouldn't really call it manipulation. It's both of them getting something that they wanted. Because if you go back and look at like the animated series, the whole point of her was that she was so like
enamored,
and she admired.
She was a fangirl.
Yeah, she admired his mind so much that she decided to free him. Yeah. And then once she did him that favor, he returned the favor by Jokerizing her. And she's the only character that's ever been actually Jokerized.
Right.
Where it's fully functional, the exact same treatment as him, the exact same powers. Because he does have minor superpowers, like being immune to poison and a bunch of other cool things that he gets to do.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. But
it's hard to kill him.
Yeah, if you want to consider that to actually be a power more than like the best plot armor in existence.
Yeah,
because he is number one recurring villain. But yeah, so there's all of this, but she's the only character that's ever been properly Jokerized, and he actually went through the effort of like reconstructing the entire process to make sure that she stayed herself,
right,
as well as her new self. That's why she's still just as smart as she used to be.
Yeah, but in this series, he apparently threw her in there.
Just tossed her in there for fun.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent of like Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Where once again she isn't aware of the obvious consequences, but in the original animated series, not only was she aware of it, she
was okay with it. Yeah,
she was willing.
Because most people forget, but she was created on the animated series.
That's her origin.
Yeah,
and she evolved past that, you know, in other media, especially comics.
Well, thanks to the animated series, Joker became Batman's biggest arch enemy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also once again, Joker evolved past that. Like every one of the characters in the animated series were developed further in the comics, and that's really important because that's where the common mythos is actually drawn from.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, most of the most famous things about Joker come from graphic novels and comics. The Killing Joke is so integral to the character that we can never get past it.
Yeah, it's even briefly mentioned in this episode, just briefly by Jim Gordon, who's like
a manic crackhead.
Well, he's not a crackhead, but he's like a guy that he never sleeps and he's addicted to coffee.
Yeah, no, that is true. That is probably the actual reason why he looks that way. But other than that, though, he looks like a manic crackhead. He looks horrible. It's so bad. But and the obvious reason for it is the Killing Joke has occurred and his Barbara Gordon was paralyzed.
Right.
Yeah, so he's a little off right now.
Right. Though of course it's exaggerated to the nth degree here. Like everything is exaggerated for the nth degree.
The one thing that I do understand and appreciate is who they casted for Batman. So since this is a more comedic take on the DC universe, it made sense to pick the guy who did the comedic Batman, which was Batman Brave and the Bold.
Yeah.
His name is Diedrich Bader. He's a comedian. He's been in a lot of Adam Sandler's older movies, and he was in the Drew Carey Show. So he's been in multiple different things.
Mm-hmm.
And then Harley Quinn is voiced by Kaylee Cuoco, which is
everybody knows from Big Bang Theory.
Everybody knows from Big Bang Theory as Penny. Poison Ivy is voiced by Lake Bell. she's starting to become famous. She's done things throughout the years, just nothing huge. She's done the thing that she's been part of right now is this new TV show on ABC called Bless This Mess with Dax Shepard. But she's starting to become a bigger name in the movie world. Oh, and also Jim Rash from Community. He does the voice of Riddler.
But yeah, so definitely Poison Ivy's best character.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get on to it. So Harley ends up in prison for 6 months.
Yep.
And the way that we
No,
know
it ended
this,
up being a year.
well, no, I'm saying, but
Yeah.
when we
cuts to
first
6
start,
months.
yeah,
Yeah.
6 months she's in Arkham.
Yeah.
After Joker made the promise that he'd get her out within a day.
Right.
So so she's been there for 6 months, and she's waiting in the visitor center for where you get to go and inmates get to go and meet visitors that they have. And of course, she doesn't have a visitor. She's probably been here every day for the last 6 months. Which is verified, strangely enough, but easily enough, by Calendar Man,
Yes.
who, of course, would know the exact date of everything.
Because he's the
Except-
calendar man.
Yeah, but except for the birth date of his son. Calendar Man doesn't know
they
his
just-
son's birthday.
They threw Calendar Man under the bus for a comedic bit and made him not his character.
Which, that wasn't funny. The funny thing about that scene was the guards with the cactus.
Yeah, so Calendar Man's son brought a cactus for his dad, and the guard, one of the head guards, grabbed the cactus and got a flamethrower and
torched
destroyed it. Yes.
Don't bring a plant within 150 yards of poison ivy. Are you stupid, kid?
It's like, this
no,
is why you...
no wonder your dad forgot your birthday.
It's absolute savagery.
Yeah.
That was the best scene.
Yeah.
But anyway, so of course after that, Poison Ivy walks on and she, tells Harley the obvious that Joker isn't coming. And Harley, of course, immediately denies it. And then another 3 months pass.
Well, hold on. There's still a funny scene with Killer Croc where Killer Croc says, you're being dumb. He's not coming. And she bashes his head against the window.
Yeah.
Poor Croc.
He got abused. Though I think he's going to be a part of the ensemble going for it. So, maybe there'll be some respect for him later.
I don't see him as part of the top cast. I actually, instead of Killer Croc, I seen King Shark.
I think it's King Shark.
Shark.
Who's supposed to be his her.
Yeah,
her
Ron
team.
Funches, who's he's a comedian who got his first start in what was that show called? It was on NBC. I actually liked it quite a bit. I can't remember the name right now, but he's been in like Trolls and Bob's Burgers and a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's doing the voice of King Shark. They got a lot of big names doing roles.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't.
They got JB Smoove, who's from Spider-Man Far From Home. He's been in a lot of other things, a lot of comedic movies. They got Wanda Sykes, a lot of stuff with her.
Yeah.
They also have Jason Alexander, most known for Shallow Hal. No, I'm just kidding. He's most known for Seinfeld.
But,
Seinfeld.
That's throwing him under the bus.
they cut ahead 3 months. Basically, more of Ivy telling Harley, he's not
He's
coming.
not coming.
Not just Ivy. It's
Everybody.
that's at 6 months. That's at a year. That's at
yeah.
a year.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Because
Yeah.
they're having lunch.
Yeah, and everybody's like, he's not coming.
Right. Learn this lesson that he doesn't care about you. He's never gonna break you out of here. You're stuck here. And of course we skip again and then we come across the prison break, which is retarded. But
Yes.
it's exactly what it is.
The Riddler
Ate an orange
ate an orange
and crapped out a seed.
and
Poison Ivy
and
used
used
it
it.
for prison break. And it's horrible. Oh,
hey,
it's horrible.
that point right there. Okay, so there's a later part where he says that he owed Poison Ivy. He didn't owe
It was
Poison
a
Ivy anything.
partnership. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
He
bad
gave her a
writing.
seed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but even then he couldn't have broken out without her. That's probably why.
But it still
It was a
required
partnership.
him.
Well,
yeah.
Still, the
30
fact
70.
nobody would have let her have the orange.
Yeah, but 30 70.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But it is still her that got him out. So.
30
Yeah.
70. Like, okay, all I'm saying is that the 20% that he did owe her to make it 50-50 was not worth the plan later on.
Yeah.
There was too much effort.
That was a lot of effort
It
for
was
the
like
for the
150
Riddler.
150 gallons of a certain,
Yeah, we can get to that. We can get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So regardless, so Poison Ivy breaks her out. Of course, Harley doesn't want to leave because
Forcibly breaks her out.
Yes, which Ivy gasses Harley. And so one of the things, right, that I've always like kept as far as most things are concerned is that both of them are immune to poison and hallucinogens and drugs and just anything
Right. Well,
that you can-
apparently
She
That
drops
wasn't
like a fly,
yeah.
right? But neither one of them can be like, because whatever they are is so toxic. You know, it's that
That
super
stuff doesn't
poison.
work on
Yeah,
them.
that anything less than what they are currently running around with doesn't have any effect on them.
Right. And that makes sense because they jumped into a vat of acid and survived.
Yeah, and other horrible things out of
yeah.
Ace Chemicals. And Ace Chemicals was a horrible place. But regardless, so they break out, they go to Ivy's loft, which is a horrible idea, by the way. I mean, I don't know if anybody ever thought that that was just like a strange thing, but Batman would know.
Batman would know. Even the cops would know, and they're incompetent in Gotham. So
Right.
you know,
Not only just that, but when they get there, she goes and immediately starts reviving her plants because they haven't been tended for a while, and she has the plant from Little Shop of Horrors.
Frank the Plant.
Yeah,
That's the one JB Smoove does the voice for.
Yeah. The carnivorous plant.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I guess the first reference to that would be Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
That's what I would think of. Feed me.
Seymour. But yeah. So so she asks, like, where's that little neighborhood boy that I paid to water my plants? Well, Frank the Plant ate it. And then
Well, no. He says he stopped coming after a week.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah,
stopped, and then
yeah,
he
has to
immediately
barf the
vomits.
kid,
Yeah.
which should have happened at any point in time outside.
But of course, for comedic.
But then she's
Timing.
like, well, what if his parents come by? Well, they won't.
And
he
it barfs out them.
Yes.
So all the more reason for someone to have realized where Poison Ivy's loft is. But okay.
But this is a simplistic comedic show.
But yes.
And remember, Harley's supposed to be the focal point.
Yeah.
Right. So regardless, they're trying to once again convince Harley that the Joker isn't good for her because you have to beat it over this person's head. She's like one of the most intelligent characters in DC. She has 4 PhDs. But we got to put a lot of effort into this.
So the doctor version of her from a picture talks to her
And she
in her head.
self-diagnoses.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, you're one of the smartest people I know. You diagnose me. You fix
And it
me.
still doesn't work.
Right.
Still doesn't work.
They go back to Joker, and she immediately goes back to him.
Yes.
Right. Because they're like, all right, we're going to break up officially.
Yeah.
Right. So she walks in, tries to break it off. Joker comes up
Like
with
she's
this.
16 years old or something.
Yeah, right. But comes in with this stupidly connived thing where he's just like, oh crap, all of a sudden I got to think of something. I can't let her break up with me. So he comes up with the worst plan I've ever imagined for this, where his entire thing was, I had to leave you in Arkham. Because of what I did to Barbara Gordon, Batman and Jim Gordon wouldn't let me go. They'd hurt anyone close to me. Anyone with 2 brain cells
Yes.
knows that between Batman and Jim Gordon, the person who they're going to murder is Joker.
Yeah, they're not. They know it's not Harley's fault.
Right. She had nothing to do with it. It literally happened while she was in prison. Harley Quinn cannot be that dumb,
Yeah,
but
she's
she
not.
is.
She is in this.
She is in this though.
So she immediately gets back together, and then they have this, overly gratuitous, like, prelude to sex scene, which is something that like things love to do nowadays.
Yeah, but it made sense with Joker and Harley. They would seem like to be the gross couple that would make out in public.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Like they make out in the middle of a crime scene, but that's the whole point. Is that,
Yeah, they're Joker and
You're
Harley.
right, which is fine. I just like, all right, this is just gratuitous. But regardless, so they get back together, and the next time you see them, she's made bread pudding for her pudding, which is, I guess,
It's the old
They had
joke.
to-
It's
they
the
had-
old joke.
Yeah, they had to bring up pudding at least once. That's one of her famous quotable taglines.
But Joker's completely distracted and focused on the fact that the Riddler has come up with a joke that is so funny that it makes people's brains explode.
Or that's what they're saying.
Right, and it's on live TV, so he's
Yeah.
freaking out because he's just like,
He's taking my bit.
yeah, no one's more funny here than me. And I'm just like, surely you know that.
Yeah.
Like, if there's anyone who would be confident about this,
Would be
it's
the Joker.
you.
Yeah.
Right. Because you truly
He would just
believe-
watch it crash and burn.
Right. Because
And he would take that opportunity for him.
Do you know how many people have told the Joker that he's not funny?
And he doesn't care.
And he has never even bothered to think about it. But never mind. So he's distracted by Riddler. He turns around and sees the bread pudding and sees that there are these little, dark spots on it,
He thinks it's raisins.
which he hates, but they're actually chocolate chips,
Which he likes.
which he loves. And once again, it's Harley Quinn. Joker, you've been here for a long time. You know for a fact that she knows you hate raisins.
Yeah.
Just like any amount of
He
logic.
gets a gun and he starts shooting the bread pudding.
Yeah, it spreads it all over the place.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. So the whole point of it is to get around to it is that she sees that he's worried about Riddler. So she says, why don't I just go and kill him?
Yeah. Problem solved.
Because she's perfectly capable of it.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, but that's me. I wanted to go do that. But he's like, let me do it. And they come up to an agreement, another plan that has been settled upon, like at the beginning of this series.
Yep.
And she runs off and it's like, all right, well, I'm here to kill you, Riddler. Or literally appears while he's doing the broadcast for the joke that'll kill everyone. And
Batman appears at the same time.
And he's just like, what are you doing here? He's just like, I'm doing a bit, but regardless.
Yeah.
So they both are basically there to accost the Riddler, which is all that it sums up is them just ragging on him because, that's the best that they can do in this situation.
Yep.
He traps them both in these little glass pots and dangles them over 2 vats of acid. And the whole point of it is that they're waiting for the Joker to arrive because the Riddler wants to play a game with the Joker. The Joker arrives, and the first thing he has to ask about is, so you don't have a joke. like that is the thing that matters the most to the Joker about it here.
Which wouldn't matter to the Joker
at all
in the comics or even most renditions of him in the movies.
First off, there's no Riddler that's dumb enough to call the Joker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I ain't screwing with him.
Right. No. In fact, there's a perfect example of it in the Batman comic series, which is written by Tom King, which I can't wait for Matt to get back so I can rag on it to Matt. Because I have not liked that guy. But during the War of Jokes and Riddles, before the Riddler knew what the Joker was all about, he comes to the Riddler to make an alliance to take out Batman, and Joker puts 2 in his stomach just for thinking they could work together. Riddler will be probably the most aware of the fact that you can't team up with Joker.
Right.
Which is most of Gotham knows you don't do anyway, with the exception of maybe like Harvey Dent because he's nuts.
Yeah. Well, because Joker teamed up with the mob a lot.
Yeah.
So,
regardless, we continue on. So, of course, it's the classic, choose one to live, choose one to die, right? One will be saved, one will get dropped into a vat of acid. So he, of course, breaks out into maniacal laughter and chooses Batman.
Yes.
Leaving Harley to be jumped into the acid.
Because he thinks that it would credit Riddler to be the person to kill Batman.
But let me tell you the reason why that makes absolutely no sense at all. Obviously, the most important part is that it's Batman. And if you want to ask who has the most faith in Batman, it's the Joker.
I mean, there's even, what was it? The Death of a Family, where he was like, you're starting to get rusty.
Yeah, right. I'm worried about you.
Yeah, so he starts upping the ante more than he usually did.
Right. The entire comic book series is that I'm worried about all of these distractions you have in your life, Batman. I'm here to make sure you stay in tip-top shape. That is my reason for doing all of this. It's to help you.
Yeah.
Because he's a lunatic like that.
Yeah.
But
because he loves Batman.
Right. I wouldn't even use the word love. I would say that it's closer to
admiration.
Yeah, it's like admiration. Him and the relationship that Harley Quinn has with the Joker is almost verbatim the same relationship Joker has with Batman.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the Joker is aware of it both ways.
Right.
Right. He's the person who's most aware of how this,
he's most aware of his relationship with Harley, and he's most aware of how he views Batman.
Right. So once again, there's one person here who shouldn't be confused about how this all works. It's Joker. So he chooses Batman. Batman drops out, lands on the plate that covers the pool of acid, and Batman doesn't stick around to save Harley.
Which is very un-Batman-like.
Right, because he would save even the Joker in this situation. Whoever's in the pod beside him, he saves.
Yeah, he would have saved.
Because he doesn't believe in killing.
Right.
He's like Spider-Man.
Yeah, letting someone die in the situation. So you go over, and so he abandons Harley. He doesn't capture Riddler.
Nope.
He just fixates on the Joker, which is, again,
not Batman in any way, shape, or fashion. They literally just run out of the building. And so Harley drops into the vat of acid, assuming that she's going to die, gets pulled out by Poison Ivy a few seconds later, because it's not a vat of acid, it's 2 150-gallon tanks of margarita mix.
You also have to remember she has a internal vision thing of
Mad Love. The Mad Love scene.
Where she makes herself remember what actually happened the night that she thinks Joker proposed to her.
Because for some reason Harley Quinn's delusional.
Yes, but then she, breaks the delusion herself of Joker left her to die with Batman.
Right, and that doesn't credit the character in any way. I don't care what anyone says. The fact that you think that Harley Quinn can be placed down here with codependency.
Yeah.
Like she,
a woman with
people,
4 PhDs.
Right.
She is a genius. Like you're making her out to be like.
And she started the relationship.
Yeah.
She broke him out of prison. It's
Yeah.
all been her decision from the very freaking beginning. She's one of the most independent women in comics.
Yeah. But not in this series.
but regardless. So yeah, so she obviously has been caught in this delusion for years.
Yeah.
Of till death do us part, which is said a couple of times throughout the series, well, throughout the episode, and she breaks the delusion and realizes that what happened is that Joker, rather than proposing to her with a ring, had handed her a grenade and sent her to kill Batman. Which is exactly why he chose to sacrifice her so that Riddler
Right.
wouldn't kill
It
Batman.
took margarita mix to make her realize that.
But like another just flaw in the writing or in the
Yeah.
logic of the series is that if she had managed to kill Batman with that grenade,
It would have been her.
It would have been her. Gotham would know that Harley Quinn.
And that version of the Joker wouldn't have been okay with it.
Right, exactly. That's the whole reason why this entire charade just happened.
That's why I said it's just an adult animated cartoon that doesn't focus on the actual plot line. It just tries to make in some comedic bits mixed in there.
After that, she finally lets go. She finally makes herself let go of the Joker with Ivy's help, and finding out that Ivy set up this entire thing with the Riddler, and
then we get
she changes into her modern look,
and
that
then
everybody
for
knows.
like the 1,000th time in the last 10 years, we get the emancipation of Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
because we've done this before an infinite number of times.
And we're even having a movie come out next year called The Emancipation of the one called Harley Quinn,
and it's just been done,
which is hilarious because it's also supposed to be It's a Birds of Prey
movie.
Well, they mentioned Birds of Prey at the end, so
yeah,
and the Birds of Prey.
Well, no, it isn't it Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of Harley Quinn?
Let me look it up.
I'm pretty sure it's Birds of Prey is the main title, and then Emancipation of Harley Quinn is the subtitle, or is the?
It's a really long.
Yeah, it's one of those. But to continue on,
it's called Birds of Prey, and then it says
subtitle.
in the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
right.
It's ridiculous. It's way too long, but that's the point. It's supposed to be funny.
Yeah. So obviously she hits that mode again,
Yep.
where she now blames the Joker for
Yeah.
everything that was, completely sideways about their relationship, and then proceeds to take the one obvious route, which is breaking up with him. So she comes again. Joker, does the whole fake panic thing and tries to, save the relationship again. But rather than this time coming up with some, really quick lie, he just says, "You can't leave me." He becomes a complete,
Possessive.
Right, just a complete personality shift, because the whole point of the original part, like literally the first 2 acts of this episode, is that he doesn't care.
Right, and then suddenly he cares.
He becomes super possessive at the end. "You can't leave me." I'm just like, okay, here we are. They get into a fight. She completely bashes a bunch of his goons, gets her classic back, and replaces the mallet. Because, that's what you wanted to do there. And then she proceeds to just like murder 50 people, which is fun because I like the action scene. Mostly just because I, once again, enjoyed the gore and viscera.
The gore and all that is cool. But the one thing that I have had the big complaint on with this show is it's like they got a 13-year-old that just learned how to cuss. And so they have to drop the F-bomb every 5 seconds just because they're like, oh, we're on a streaming service, so we can drop the F-bomb as much as we want. Well, I'm not saying, okay, let's keep it all nice and clean. No, I understand it's an adult animated show.
I mean, we wanted to be rated R. We don't want PG-13.
As we said, I do. We said, I liked Ivy in it a lot.
Yeah.
She's honestly the best part. Whenever she does it, it actually sounds good because it's literally like
it fits her.
Yeah, she's a cut-in. She's always the, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
Literally, those side comments.
Whereas Harley
just throws it out there left and right.
Just to do it.
Just say
multiple times in a single sentence. Yes. Especially when it first starts, the very first
I think
moment
it's
of
just
the episode.
I think it's just like Kaylee Kuko is just like, I'm finally not in a stupid sitcom that I've been stuck in for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
I can finally use cuss words.
Yeah, just improv cuss words as far as the sentence goes. But so she sits there, right, and she beats all their behinds. She blows up the building, completely wins over Joker and his gang because she's like one woman against the Joker and 50 goons.
Yeah. Just by herself.
Yeah, collapses the entire Joker theme park. Joker gets buried in the rubble, and she, instead of killing him, which was what anyone but Batman would do in this situation. If you can kill the Joker, it's a pretty good idea to just wax him.
Well, and since the emancipation of her. They've
He
been
has
trying
to
to
be
make her
alive to see it.
right, but also they've been trying to make her more as a anti-hero
yeah,
in recent time.
yeah. Which arguably she wasn't much of a villain to begin with.
Right,
Joker was the villain.
right.
Even like back in the animated series,
She's
she-
the side.
She had a conscience.
right. She's
Like
just
you would see that in the show every once in a while.
Right. That she's
Yeah.
like she's questioning what's going on here.
And then
But-
the few times she wasn't with Joker, she was
She's
with
like-
Ivy.
yeah, and she's also heroic. She saved. She almost killed Batman in the animated series.
Yeah.
Yes.
But she's also like saved people's lives in the
Yeah.
animated series. So it's regardless, we proceed.
Yes.
So she, does her whole emancipation speech and walks off and leaves Joker buried in the rubble. Her and Ivy have this little funny bit where they're functionally just a couple.
Yeah.
And she's just like, I'm going to this place to get food. Text me what you want.
I'm right here. I can tell you what I want.
I already told you what I wanted. Yeah, but you're gonna say you wanted something else, and then you're just gonna eat my food.
Right. She's gonna forget.
Yeah.
So text me. It's the same thing because in that 15-minute drive, we all know what happens.
Yeah.
Somebody forgets what somebody wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
The small minutia gets lost.
Yeah.
But and that pretty much wraps up.
I wouldn't forget actually.
What is
Well,
with
that's
you
'cause
and
I
the
used-
odd flexes every time?
See, Devontae's not here. Devontae's not here, so somebody's got to say weird flex. Okay.
But it is. Well, why is that?
Because I
something-
used to be a server, so like I wouldn't use a notepad. I would do it all by memory. So servers would remember that.
So not only are you just like flexing on the common people that forget this, but you're
Yes.
flexing on other servers too.
No, I'm saying no. A lot of servers don't use a notepad.
Mm.
They have you
Mm.
gotta learn to have good memory when you're
Oh.
a server.
I got you. And it carries over to your current life. I respect that.
Weird
Yes.
flex, but okay.
That's my point. See, that's my point. Anyway, regardless.
Hey, I'm the Escanor of this group. That's why I changed my Facebook profile for Christmas. Escanor in a Santa outfit.
What was his specific? Was it Lion Sin of Pride?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
But regardless, so all in all, I really don't like the writings. All the characters are very flat. They're caricatures, not actually characters.
Right.
Because to me, what they are is that in the 10 years of this argument existing about how Joker and Harley's relationship is toxic, about how Harley's in this
But you're-
abusive, codependent relationship, it's that entire argument turned into a show.
Well, this show is never going to be like Young Justice or anything with large depth to it
Why couldn't it be?
because
I mean, but
I know it could be, but it's like a Family Guy show. It's like a Simpsons. I mean, no offense. I mean, I enjoy.
even those.
I'm not
managed to make-
knocking it. I'm just saying it's more.
To give the better idea, if it was another character, if it was a different character, you'd probably get your more serious, not so much. But it's Harley, and as much as she does have serious moments, she's mostly known for being the Deadpool-like character of the DCU right now.
Yeah,
That's why.
she's their Deadpool.
Yes, no, they've treated her like Deadpool for like
Long time now.
since the New 52.
Yes.
Yeah,
but that's not the character. Once again, like
That's not the character she started as, but that's what they made her become.
right. But that's not her in common.
she's Gwenpool.
yeah.
Well, that's
she
a
is,
whole nother thing.
But it's still they're occupying the same realm of comic book character.
Right.
But you want to tell me that when anyone speaks about Joker and Harley, like
People hate on their relationship now.
yeah, but I'm like, but all of us who've been fans for the longest of times, right?
Yeah.
When we talk about them, do you actually see Harley Quinn in that way? Because I've never seen Harley Quinn in that way.
I mean,
She's not a Deadpool
It depends.
character.
Yeah, no.
She's not.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the relationship actually
yeah,
being
yeah.
toxic and all
No,
that.
no. If you're talking about the original anime, that's my point. Like this was perfect
Yeah.
during the animated series, where that was absolutely true.
Because it was toxic.
yeah,
yeah.
he was totally,
He's totally abusing her and using her.
right.
Yeah.
Like literally, one of the most classic things is like she's on the desk trying to distract him from making his elaborate plans
Yeah.
because she's worried that he's working too hard, and she literally just shoves her off the desk,
Yeah.
or he throws her off of a roof. Like it's completely accurate.
I mean, he's a jerk. I mean,
yes,
yeah.
in the animated series.
Yeah.
But once we left the animated series and moved to the comics, people decided like to give them a romance.
yeah.
And that's where their romance actually started. And that's why they became partners, an actual series of characters. And for a long time, that's what we remembered them as.
Right.
Right. And that's what I know them as.
Right.
I didn't jump over to the New 52 train when they decided to say that, oh, you're not actually just Harley. There's an entire warehouse of 500 Harleys that Joker has been going. You don't remember that from the beginning of New 52?
Oh.
It was horrible. That
That's
she wasn't a
garbage.
unique character.
What, they had a bunch of clones of her or something?
No, just over the years, Joker has had multiple Harleys. And
Right.
apparently that this Harley is just the Harley that realized it and broke free. There was literally an entire warehouse
I do remember that being a thing.
of dead Harley Quinns.
That's
Because
so dumb.
he just uses it's so contrived. It's the most irritating thing to me about the current continuity for these characters. Now she doesn't exist, the Joker. Joker hasn't had a single thought about Harley Quinn in any Batman comic in the longest time.
You'll see him and hers sometimes, but it's not, hers isn't even part of the mainline series.
Right. And so you just presume that wherever he's actually in, and because he's a completely different character now in Batman.
Oh yeah.
He's completely forgotten about her. She doesn't exist. I don't care what anyone actually tells me. Harley Quinn is her own separate continuity, almost separated from the DC universe.
He's a serial killer Joker nowadays.
Yeah. It's just like she isn't relevant to him in any way at all.
At this point, if she changed her name,
Of course, if you go by the theory of there's more than one Joker, this Joker could be one that wasn't never had a relationship with her.
Which, okay, I guess. But then
she would know that though.
Right.
She would know it'd be a different person.
More than anyone she would know. Because one of them she spent years with in Arkham diagnosing.
Right.
But also to go along with that, right? Couldn't we just let me show you how, because of the way this has been written, how easy it is to retcon it, right? Her and the Joker get back together. This is the quickest way of doing it. Why was there a warehouse full of dead me's? Well, that was that Joker.
Right.
Oh, cool. All right. Hi, Puddin'.
We're back together. What type? Just it kills me. I can't do it. I hate it. The Emancipation of Harley Quinn is one of the most irritating things because it degrades her as a character.
She's bigger than that.
She is much lesser now than she has ever been in her creation. There was a point where she was one of the most accomplished women in like villainy because she almost killed Batman in her own. It's not even her series. She's not even one of the main antagonists.
The Injustice fighting series does her more justice
than the current continuity for her. It's a waste of the character. Her, Poison Ivy, and Wonder Woman are probably like the top 3 strong women of DC. Just, going along. I mean, you would also add Catwoman and Lois Lane to that list. But my point being is that they were the strong, independent, just we are our own people characters. And it was okay that Harley had this relationship with Joker because that's what Harley wanted. Now it can't be okay. It can't work. It has to be beaten over the head 10,000 times that this relationship was toxic and it was horrible. And we're long past it. I can't do it anymore.
Well, we'll check out the show a bit more and give more of our opinion down the road.
Yeah, definitely do the 3-episode rule. Always.
We're holding off on the Titans finale, talking about that because not everyone has caught up. Dane hasn't caught up. Have you caught up?
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, he watched it, but Dane didn't.
I faded out of the series. I'll just catch up to it.
I had a lot of issues with the finale.
I had a few. I'll go over them if I'm here when we talk about them.
Yeah. There was a lot of flaws to the finale, and I'm pretty well. If it goes down this route again for season 3, I'm done with the show. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Most of all, thank you for letting us get to the root of our geek culture with you. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you.